right, welcome back. Now, we continue celebrating Women's Month, and this week we're talking women and managing their personal finances. Columnist Maya Fisher-French speaks to us from Cape Town. Good morning to you, Maya. Happy Women's Month. It's actually the first time I'm talking to you during this Women's Month. But let's start with this. I mean, do you think that financial management is any different for women?
You know, I mean, that's the interesting question. You know, should we be talking differently about money when it comes to women? And I think the answer is yes, because we have different challenges than men. So first of all, we live longer. So we will outlive men on average by 7 years. That's another 7 years that we have to fund post-work. So investing is actually more important for us, believe it or not. We also are the ones who tend to raise the children. So that may either mean that we've taken time out of work or we've chosen to stay at home for a period of time to raise the children. And also in South Africa, we have a very high percentage of women who are actually raising children on their own. Around 50% of women in South Africa are single, or mothers are single moms. And only about 30% of them receive any financial support from the father. So that really is quite a dynamic in South Africa we need to consider. And unfortunately, despite the fact that we're in the 2020s, women still earn less than men. All the salary surveys show that we earn less. So for us, we really need to make sure that the money that we do get is actually able to work harder for us.
Yeah. So in that case, then, what should women be focusing on when it comes to their finances?
You know, it's about having your own financial history, your own financial independence. Have your own bank account in your own name. I know that seems obvious, but for a lot of women, they just have a joint bank account with their husbands without realizing that they're not building up any bank history themselves. They need to build up a credit record in their own names. And the most important thing they need to be doing is having investments in their own names. And, you know, looking at things like having an emergency fund. You know, what if I need to, you know, access some money, in an emergency, or even especially if you've got children, there's often things go wrong with kids, you know, doctor bills and all the rest of it. Make sure you have your emergency fund. Make sure that you have it. It's not just sitting in your husband's or your partner's bank account. Retirement. I spoke earlier, we outlive men. So therefore, women generally have to save 20% more than men for retirement to fund our longevity. Another thing women really need to not do is cash in their investments when they have children. I know it's tempting. You want to take some time off work. I've got this investment. Again, remember, you're going to have to fund your retirement one day, and cashing in those investments can really set you back. And I think finally, everyone should have a will. But when you're a mom, you need to really make sure you have that will that stipulates what happens to your child if something happens to you, and also make sure that you've got the right kind of life insurance to provide for your children. So I think it depends where you are in your life stage, but the most important thing is have your own investments. That's probably the key one.
Best advice I've heard all morning. Thank you so much, Maya, for reminding us of what's really important as a woman. Maya Fisher-French, of course, making sure that we make sound money decisions.